Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in today to attend our new episode of the Digital First Education Series. We are very glad to see you connecting from California, but not only from California. My name is Jean-Baptiste Piron, and on behalf of our entire team, French cluster team in Los Angeles and Chicago, we would like to wish you a happy and recovery year. And we hope you are safe. Just a quick reminder of our mission before we start the program today. We are a group of French experts based in Los Angeles and Chicago, and we help French-speaking people in the US to reach their business goals. We offer mentoring opportunities and an extensive network and a deep knowledge of the different ecosystems in your region. Today, we will talk about e-commerce and distribution channels in the US, which are very crucial when you start a new distribution business or if you want to switch or pivot your existing activity. And for that, I'm really pleased to welcome today our French cluster expert, Thibauld Quirion, joining us from the Windy City, Chicago in Illinois. Good morning, Thibauld.
Morning.
Thibauld is born in Normandy and first worked for the big 5 consulting companies in Paris. He then moved to Argentina to settle its own international consulting company, along with an e-commerce project in Latin America. Years of experience in international trade and consulting led him to assume several positions for companies helping French SME to settle in foreign countries, which allowed him to move to Atlanta and Philadelphia. Thibauld realized that distribution was rapidly evolving in the US from a traditional brick and mortar market to an online model. He then decided to join Brand Business Incubator in Chicago to merge its e-commerce and e-business expertise with BB Inc. know-how in operations to bring foreign companies the ability to sell and distribute their products online in the USA. So today is your webinar as usual, so please feel free to ask your question in the Q&A box below, and we will answer them at the end of the presentation. So once again, good morning, Thibauld, and welcome to the stage.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone, and a happy new year. Hopefully, it's going to be better than last year. And so I want to explain the mutation and deep mutation of the distribution in the US and the impact it's going to have on consumer goods, but also B2B products in the next coming years, and through through e-commerce. So let's see, it's working perfect. So I want to start with some facts that are going to describe what's going on right now. So if we look at this graph, we'll see that the share of e-commerce upon retail sales in the US, it's growing pretty fast, but during the last year, it has totally exploded. One thing you have to consider, so we're almost at 30% of the retail sales are done through e-commerce. What you have to consider when you see this graph is in the US, retail sales, they consider the car industry, so the cars, the car parts, the gasoline, and also the supermarkets. So you can imagine that the share, it represents a huge amount of money. So have you seen it was growing like a regular trend for the past 10 years, but during the pandemic, it totally exploded. So this means that companies that were already ready to sell online or already selling online, they went through, it was a sweet spot for them because they were able to expand the sales through the online channel. But companies that were not ready or not willing, a bit reluctant to sell online, it's been a very complicated year for them because their customers were expecting their products online. And if they were just distributing on brick and mortar, it was very, very complicated year. What I also want to emphasize is that the distribution market in the US is evolving more and more. So the traditional distribution was you were coming to the US or you had the product in the US, you were working with the distributor, you were selling this product to your distributor, this distributor was buying this product from you, and then was sending the product to the retailers, or directly to the customer. So basically, if you were a manufacturer or an importer, you had to manage pallets and sell these pallets to your distributor, and that was it. Now things are totally changing, and more the distributor is disappearing, the traditional distributor is disappearing, and the retailers or the marketplace are asking directly the manufacturers or the importers to send directly the products to the final customer. So when you are manufacturing in the US, you are coming from doing manufacturing your products, putting them on a pallet and sending this pallet to your distributors or to big box retailers, from a model where you have to open these pallets, open the master carton, take one piece, and be able to receive an order for this product and send this product to the final customer. So that's a very strong challenge for a lot of companies in the US, because they have to adapt their logistics, they have to adapt their distribution, and they have to adapt their IT to be able to receive orders and to be able to ship one product, which was they were not doing so far until right now, to the final customers. And even retailers, even if you have retailers, let's take, we have one customer, for example, they are making motorcycle helmets. So they are sending the product to a lot of dealers, but the dealers can have the full product range. So what is the dealer going to do? He's going to say, okay, my customer wants this helmet, I have it in red, but he wants it in blue. So as an importer manufacturer, you're going to receive that order and you will have to ship that blue helmet directly to the final customer. So this is direct to customer. So this is totally evolving, and a lot of companies are facing really strong challenges right now in the US to adapt to this new model. Also, one fact right now in the US is that the delivery time is shrinking, and customers is willing to wait less and less time to receive their products. It's pretty, in the 90s, you would order something not even online, but on a catalog, and you would wait 10 days to receive it, and that was all right. Amazon with the Prime program, and right now there's almost more Prime account holders and household in the US, so I don't even know they do that. You are expecting to receive products in 2 days or even the next day. So it shows that the delivery time and the expectation from the customer is going really low. So if you want to go online and distribute your product online, you have to have a very good and reliable logistics and have your product close to the consumers. And so for those of you that represent foreign brands, for example, that means that you cannot imagine having your product stored in France or in Europe and receive your online orders in Europe and ship from Europe to the US. This is going to work, for example, for a time, but it's not a long-term solution for you. And it also concerns not only the B2C market, but the B2B market. So I put some figures to show you what's going on, especially the one in the middle. So almost every B2B buyer is willing to buy online right now. So it forces, why? Because it's more convenient, because when you're a retailer, for example, you can buy at whatever time in the day. So when you have a small shop and you're managing your shop, so after the closing time, you can go online and do your replenishment orders. So that's very convenient. You don't have to do this during your opening hours, because it's more convenient to use a credit card, because for a lot of reasons, it's more convenient for them to buy online. So lots of companies know when they're setting up a business in the US, they have to think about how are they going to sell B2B in the US, and they need to start thinking from the beginning, from scratch, about selling online and open an online channel for B2B. And also you have to have your product well referenced for B2B buyers, because it's more than half of the B2B buyers are looking for new products online and searching for products through the search engine. There's also a small graph below that shows that during the next 2 coming years, the B2B online market is going to grow by 50%. So it's very important for being online. So how do you transform that in your day-to-day business? When you already have an e-commerce website, for example, there's some tools. Let's say you're using Shopify. There are some tools that you can use. Either you open a secondary Shopify just to attend the B2B market, or you can implement some tools that allows specific customers to buy by bulk or per master carton, or directly to a specific pricing depending on the fact that they are B2B buyers or normal B2C buyers. But this is something you have to think about from the beginning when you start your business in the US. Also, and this slide concerns more the foreign companies setting their e-commerce business in the US. You cannot, and I already said that, you cannot imagine building a long-term e-commerce business in the US without having a stock of your products in the US. A lot of customer prospects we have say, yeah, I already do business in the US with Amazon. I send the products from France. It's great. It's working great. Yeah, it's working great for some time, but it's not going to work great for a long time. You need to have the product in the US. Same thing also, you need to have a local payment processor, because in Europe, things are different from the US. And something I always say in the US is that security is not that of a concern, because the final consumer will always be right in front of his bank. So if he's saying, okay, I had a payment, online payment, it's not me, I don't know, it's a fraudulent payment, he's always going to get his money back. In Europe, it's not the same, it's more complicated. So you have more better level of security, which means that you have generally one more step when you do a online payment. And this is not suitable for the US, because people want to buy pretty fast and they want their card to be accepted right away. Also, you have to consider to have local shipping solutions. This is obvious. You want to use UPS or UPS account in the US, or you want to use a USPS. One thing also which is important is to have a localized online marketing. You want to talk to Americans an American way and with American words, and talking about a product adapted for the American market. So one thing, if you have a UK website, think about redesigning your UK website for the US and redoing the translation in the American English. Also, very important to always simulate a local presence, because you want to have a US address, you want to have a US phone number, because the US consumers, even if they take pretty fast the decision to buy something, it's reassures them to have a US phone number they can call if they have any issue, and to see the companies in Chicago, Los Angeles, or wherever in the US. And you will need to have a very good customer service to sell to online US customers, because of the returns, because of the complaints, because of everything. Because American consumers, they usually really want a good customer service, because they're more prone to return products than in Europe, and they're more prone to go to the customer service than they do consumers do in Europe. Also, you want to build an ecosystem. It's not just having a website and selling your product on your website. You need to be able to sell online on multiple channels. So you've seen, you can easily reference your product, and that's an opportunity for you. For example, to Macy's, because now Macy's is not going to store your products. Macy's is going to send you orders and say, hey guys, I have an order for you. Can you ship that to my customer? So you want to be able to sell on multiple sales channels. You also want to encourage retailers, and not just big box retailers, but small retailers you're working with, to do direct to customers. Why? Because they cannot have the whole range of your products, but they can have your catalog. So you can say, okay, you don't store that product, but if you have a customer that wants that color or that size, I have it for you, and I can ship it to your final customer for you, and I charge you $5 to do that, for example, and that works very well. But to do that, you need a strong and reliable logistics, because obviously, between the moment you receive the orders and the moment you have to ship the products, you have to do that in less than 1 day, or at least 2 days, which is the very maximum time. And you need to be able to, as I said at the beginning, to pick just one item, or one of this item and one of this item, to put them together and ship that to the final customers. And also, you want to be on the marketplace, whether it's Amazon, but no, Walmart is it's going strong. Companies like Wayfair also, if you have household products, or if you have furniture, you want to be on Wayfair. So you need to think multiple marketplace and try to be everywhere, to have what we call being on all the online ecosystem. So it means that when you're organizing that, more or less, this is what you have to set up. So either you're able to do it yourself, so gathering products, for example, from your manufacturer, from your third-party warehouse. We have some customers that have warehouses in China, for example, when they gather everything from their provider and send things back to us in the US. From your vendors, you have to group over your procurement and be able to attend the marketplace, the final retailers, the e-commerce, and the big box retailers. So when you think going online in the US, it's not just having your website and storing your product, but you have to think something about a more complex multi-channel organization. So once again, it's very important to have a reliable partner, logistic partner, or to have your own logistic being pretty efficient. Okay, because if you look at that, the big circle, the e-commerce partner, it used to be your distributor in the US, but as they tend to disappear, you're going to have to do it by yourself. Okay, to be efficient. So one thing also, I just take a minute here to explain that. Customers or prospects that come to us, they usually say, okay, it's more margin for me because I don't have the distributor. I sell directly to the final customer. So yeah, it's more margin, but it's going to cost you more because you have to set up that organization to attend the final customers. So yeah, at the end, you earn more money that way if you were selling to a distributor, but it's not 100% of your margin that you're going to keep for yourself. You have to think that you're going to have a more important cost of doing so. There's something very important, and this is also attended, for example, for foreign brands. When you come to the US and you're still working with some distributors, or you using a distributor to set up this organization. In the US, you have to keep control of your brand and domain name. It's super important. Sometimes some of prospects or companies we've been talking with just relied on a distributor and say, okay, go ahead, register my domain name in the US, register my brand, and so on. But when you come to a divorce with your distributor or your partner or in the US, or your service provider, it's going to be very complicated for you to get back your domain name. So if you've been working for the past 4 years with this domain name, and at the end of the road, it's not yours, you're going to lose a very valuable asset. You also want to keep the control of your product image. And when I say image, it's not just the pictures, it's the way you speak about your products. So it's very important when you step on the US market, or when you when you release a new product, then you register you as a brand, the manufacturer, you register this product on the marketplace. So on Amazon, even if you don't plan to sell it on Amazon, register your product on Amazon, register your brand on Amazon, because that way you will have full control, or no, not really full control with Amazon, but at least more control on your product and the way you want to speak about your product. So when you sell that product to a retailer, for example, and this retailer wants to sell on Amazon, it will be bounded to whatever the way you presented your product, and you won't be able to create that product on Amazon the way they want, and usually they do not do it the way you as a brand you want it. So do that every time. And also, when you have a contract with the distributors, be sure that in your contract, in the exit clause of the contract, you take everything about the web into account. So the domain name, the web platform, everything. So when you, in your exit clause, if you want to work with a new partner, a new distributor, be sure that you keep the ownership of the online assets, because otherwise you're going to have to start from scratch. So be sure you keep control of your brand, your products, and your online assets in the US. And so there's, for example, with Amazon, I just go back to that because it's very important. There's a brand registry program. So when you're a US company, you usually have already registered your brand with the trademark office. So you can go to brand registry in Amazon and register your brand. And when you're a foreign company, you first have to register your brand through the trademark office in the US. It's not a very complicated thing to do. And then you can go with that paper and that paperwork, you can go to Amazon and say, okay, that's my brand and I want to register my brand, so, and put my products under my brand. So I control this brand and this product. That's very, very important. I give you an example of what can happen if you don't do that. We have these customers that doing motorcycle helmets. So as you know, for helmets, there are regulation, and the regulation in the US are not the same as in Europe, and you can't sell European helmets in the US. And what happened there, some of the distributor in Europe was selling European helmets in the US, which was totally outlaw. And finally, Amazon asked the brand in the US, what was that all about and why they were selling outlaw helmets. So you really want to keep control about what you do on Amazon. Okay, and you can always, when you sign a distribution contract with any retailer, you can always put a clause about not having them selling on Amazon or eBay. You can always do that. Okay, so just
yeah. Thank you, Thibauld. I see you are very enthusiastic about what you do. It's always amazing to see that you like your job a lot. So we have a couple of questions for you received in our Q&A today. So the first question is more about tech. So what can you tell us about robotics and warehousing and product picking? So the replacement, I think, from the people to the robots. So
yeah. Okay, so we haven't gone through there still in our warehouses, but it's working pretty well for small consumer products. That's a good system. For bigger products, I know it's a bit complicated. We've been studying something about smaller products. So yeah, it's getting bigger and bigger. We've been consulted by robotics company. I've been receiving a small thing. I'm not an expert about that. Which I know is that yeah, it gives you more ability. The issue I know about robotics, when you have even if it's small warehouse, it's about the returns because it's always easy to pick. It's way more complicated to receive something and put it back in stock. So usually the returns are done by human. That's the thing I know about the robotics, because a fully integrated solution is not working that well with the returns. That was one of the issues.
Okay. So a second one, so if we are in Europe, do we need a local address on US territory to begin selling online in the US, or can we start without it? Do you provide such services?
Okay, so yeah, as I said, it's always better to have a US address just because the consumer prefer that and prefer to speak or to buy to someone that has a presence in the US. You can have a virtual address. So with us, yeah, we do that. And there's a lot of companies doing that. And also you want to provide an address in your terms and policies on your website, which is you have to comply with the terms and policies. And at the end of the terms of policies, you have to indicate your address, your postal address in the US if the consumers want to write to you. So yes, usually if you want to sell in the US, it's better to have a US address.
Okay.
And a phone number, even if this phone number goes
Yeah.
to your phone in France.
Yeah, definitely. And we have another question just arrived. What do you think about drop shipping? Sorry. I don't know that term, so.
Okay, so dropshipping, there's two things about dropshipping, and I know in Europe they think differently. So what we usually call dropshipping in the US is, for example, Macy's receiving orders, and we have to send that orders to their final customers. So it's growing huge, and it's an opportunity for very small companies that know, and some of our customers that have their products on Walmart, Macy's, Bloomingdale's, Home Depot, and they could have never done that. They could have never been in the store due to the size and the thing they're in the US. There's also the second way of dropshipping is that I build a website, I don't have the products, and I dropship the products from vendors all around the world to the final customers. This side, we do not attempt that. We do not do that in the US, but I know this is the way they think about dropshipping also in Europe. So dropshipping in the US, the way you ship for retailers, yes, it's growing very strong. And as I said, like you can go to big box retailers saying, okay, I have this product and I'm able to ship it to your final customer. Do you want my product? And usually the answer is going to be yes, it's interesting, and we make a try. So you can reference your product to places you could never have thought you could have your product there.
Okay. I have a very last one before we close today. So what are the criteria to choose between hiring our own US sales teams versus having a US service partner managing the sales locally?
Okay, so
That's the big
that's a
one.
good,
Sorry.
yeah, that's a good question. So it depends on your market. It depends on what you sell. Obviously, if you're a very specialist market with very technical things, you want to have your own employees. And usually what foreign companies do, what we tell them to do is to find an American for this from the sector that they're working with. It's always going to be better. When it's not that complicated, yes, you can ask a third party to do the sales for you. There's some companies that's making sales development for that. Or you can have, if you're a French company, for example, you can have the solution of a VIE. That works pretty well for the first year, for example, of the first 6 months to open the market and to see how is the thing. And then it gives you time to take the decision about having your own sales team in the US. But usually what we recommend is when you're a foreign company and you have a specialist product, is to go to a US employee and try to recruit someone in the US. And if you don't have a company in the US, you can do what we call employee lease. So go to companies that's going to lease that employee for you. So employ this employee for you. It's your employee, but it's paid by a third-party company.
Okay, that's very insightful. Thank you. So thank you so much, Thibauld, for your insight today. I'm sure your audience learned a lot. So the replay of this program will be available soon on our YouTube channel. So don't hesitate to reach Thibauld if you have further questions. Our next episode will be next week, and we will talk about internet and the website, or to start from scratch when you need an online presence. Sorry. So thank you all for joining us today, and please follow us on social media to be kept informed about our activities. So Have a great day. Thank you again, Thibauld, and see you soon.
Bye. Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much, everyone. Bye.